Okay, welcome to today's class. We are going to be starting in less than a minute or about a minute. I just want to connect my students in my WhatsApp group to the class and then we'll start immediately. So let me just share the live class with my students in WhatsApp. Okay, almost done. Done. Okay. Okay, so today's class we are looking at quadratic. We are continuing with quadratic equations. So in our class on Wednesday, we looked at how to solve quadratic equations using the formula method. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome everybody. I'm just going to allow the students to join in about a minute, then we're going to start. Okay, but while we wait for the students to join, I will just do a little recap on what we did on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we looked at an introduction to quadratic equations, and we said quadratic equation or a quadratic equation is an algebraic equation of the second degree. That's what we said. A quadratic equation is an algebraic equation of the second degree. That means that the maximum power of x is 2, or the highest power of x is 2. This means if we have 2x plus 1 is equal to 5, this is not a quadratic equation because the maximum exponent of x or the maximum power of x is 1. If we have 3x squared plus 4x minus 6 is equal to 0, this is a quadratic equation because the highest exponent of x is 2. But if we have a situation where we have x to the power of 3 minus, and in this situation we have the highest power of x to be 3, this is not a quadratic equation. It is not a quadratic equation because the highest power of x is 3. For it to be called a quadratic equation, the highest power of x has to be 2. Okay, so that is what we did on Wednesday. And we also looked at the different types of quadratic equation, the different methods of solving quadratic equations. Hello, Bauman, Nuran, welcome. Welcome to today's class. Welcome, Virginia. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we looked at the different methods of solving quadratic equations. The first method we considered was the formula method. We still have other two methods, which is the factoring method and the completing the square method. So in today's class, we'll be considering the factoring method. Okay, we'll be considering the factoring method. So for those of you that were here in our previous class, we considered some examples, and we are going to solve those same examples, but this time we are going to use the factoring method. So in our previous class, we solved those examples using the formula method. So we have the answers to those questions. So we are going to solve those same questions using the factoring method, and then we are going to check if we will arrive at the same answer. Okay, because whenever you solve quadratic equation, irrespective of the method you apply, you are expected to get the same answer, okay, if you do it properly. Okay, so let's look at the examples we considered. Okay, so the first example we considered was x squared, sorry. Okay. So here we are told to solve x squared plus 6x plus 8 is equal to 0. So solving this equation means finding the values of x that makes this left side equal to 0. Since we have the highest exponent to be 2, this means we are going to have two values for x. Okay, so once the exponent is to the power of 2, we're going to have two values of x. If it is x to the power of 3, we're going to have three values of x. Okay, so first thing we need to write is the basic form of a quadratic equation. The basic form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So remember, the first target is identify your A, identify your B, identify your C. That's the first target. So from this, we see that our A is the coefficient of x squared, our B is the coefficient of x, and our C is the constant that does not have x. So comparing this basic form and the question we have here, we can see that in front of x squared, there is no number here. And when there is no number, we know that the number that is actually there is 1. That means our A is equal to 1. So A is equal to 1. Our B is the coefficient of x because we have bx. Here we have 6x. That means our B is equal to 6. Our C is the number that is standing alone without any x. So our C is equal to 8. Good. So this step is common for all the methods that you can use to solve quadratic equation. This step is common for all of them. However, for factoring methods, sorry, I need to write the method we are applying. So that we know that our focus is on factoring method. Okay. So for factoring method, the next step is we are going to look for two numbers. Remember, when we in one of our previous classes, we learned about how to factorize algebra, right? How to factorize algebra. And we looked at how to factorize by grouping. But if you have a question like this, you cannot factorize by grouping. But the method we want to apply is the factoring method. The reason we cannot factorize by grouping is if we want to group this, we need to group 2 together and another 2 together. But here we have just 3. 1, 2, 3. So we cannot, if we group these two together, then we cannot group 8 with anything because we just only have 3. So our target in the next step is to split this middle number into 2 so that one of the values is going to be grouped with x squared and the other value will be grouped with 8. So we're going to split 6x into 2. Our target is to split 6x into two numbers so that we can factorize by grouping. Okay. How many of you were here when we did factorization by grouping? Can you just indicate if you were part of the lesson when we learned about factorization by grouping? If we were not, you can go to my playlist on algebra. You're going to see the hello Ken. Nice to see you. Good. So in that class, we looked at how to factorize by grouping. So we cannot factorize this by grouping because we need 4 values to factorize by grouping. So that's why we're going to split this into 2. And how do we split this into 2? We are going to look for two numbers that will multiply themselves to give us AC. And those same two numbers will add themselves to give us B. Okay, so now we want to split this into 2. So we are looking for two numbers. When you multiply those two numbers, you're going to get AC. And when you add those same two numbers, you're going to get B. Okay, that's our target. Now let's come back here. What is AC? A is 1, C is 8. That means AC is 1 multiplied by 8. That means 8. Remember, 8 is the same thing as plus 8. So let's write it down. We are looking for two numbers that will multiply to give us AC. A is 1, C is 8. 1 times 8 gives us plus 8. And then we are looking for those same two numbers have to add themselves to give us B. And what's our B here? Our B is 6 or plus 6. So to make your job easy, you start from here. You write out all the numbers that will multiply themselves to give you plus 8. You write down all the numbers that will multiply themselves to give you plus 8. Let's start from 1. 1 plus 1 times plus 8 will give you plus 8. Plus 1 times plus 8 will give you plus 8. Okay? Also, minus 1 times minus 8 will also give you plus 8. Plus 1 times plus 8 will give you plus 8. Minus 1 times minus 8 will give you plus 8. So we are done with this. Let's go to 2. We are done with 1. Let's go to 2. So we have plus 2 times plus 4 will give you plus 8. Minus 2 times minus 4 will give you plus 8. So is there any group of numbers that will multiply themselves to give us plus 8? I don't think so. The only sets of numbers that will multiply themselves to give you plus 8 are these 4. Okay? So we have written out the numbers that will multiply to give us plus 8, but we need to sieve out the one that will add to give us plus 6. Which group among these 4 groups will add up to give us plus 6? Let's look at this. If you have plus 1 plus 8, plus 1 plus 8, this will give us plus 9. Plus 1 plus 8 will give us plus 9. Minus 1 minus 8. Minus 1 minus 8. This will give us minus 9. We also have plus 2 plus 4. Plus 2 plus 4. This will give us plus 6. And then we also have minus 2 minus 4. This will give us minus 6. So out of all these numbers, the only set of numbers that will multiply to give us plus 8 and also add to give us plus 6 is this set here. Because when you multiply them, they will give you plus 8. When you add them, they will give you plus 6. So that means these are the numbers, plus 2 and plus 4 are the numbers we are going to use to replace plus 6. Remember, plus 6x. So that means we are going to remove plus 6x and we are going to introduce plus 2x plus 4x, because we are replacing this number with these two numbers. Okay, so this will give us x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 8 is equal to 0. So we have used these two to replace 6x. So instead of having 6x here, instead of having plus 6x here, we have plus 2x plus 4x. So now we have 4 sets of values. Therefore, we can factorize by grouping. So our target of going through all these was to convert this to this so that we can factorize by grouping. Remember, the method is factoring method. So now we can look at these two and factorize them together. So between x squared and plus 2x, what is common is x. And then we open the bracket. X squared divided by x will give us x, plus 2x divided by x will give us 2, plus 4x and plus 8, what is common is 4. 4x divided by 4 will give you x, plus 8 divided by plus 4 is equal to plus 2, is equal to 0. Hope you guys are following. So now we look at what is in the brackets to see if they are the same. If they are the same, then it gives us a hint that we are on the right track. So we have x plus 2, we have x plus 2. Okay. Now we can bring what is outside the bracket together. So, or we can just write x plus 2 into x plus 4 is equal to 0. So the values outside the bracket, we put them in one bracket. Since the values inside the bracket are the same, so we just put one bracket here. So now we can write x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 4 is equal to 0. Because these are two factors. These are two factors. So if you move plus 2 to the right, you're going to have minus 2. So x is equal to minus 2, x is equal to minus 2, or if you move plus 4 to the right, it's going to become minus 4. So x is equal to minus 4. That becomes the two possible answers or the two possible values of x. So can someone compare it to what we did on Wednesday for this particular question and see if we had the same answer? Were our answers minus 2 and minus 4? Can someone give us a feedback? Were our answers minus 2 and minus 4? Were our answers minus 2 and minus 4? Or we don't have the notebook we use? Okay, so the answer is the same. Good. So the answer is the same. That's good. So as long as you follow the right method or the right steps, you are expected to get the same answer. Okay. So let's look at the next example we did in our previous class. So let's solve. Hope I can wipe this off. Let me wait for more 10 seconds. Okay. Let's continue. So, okay, example. So 2x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. 2x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. So just as we always do, the first thing we need to do is identify our A, identify our B, and identify our C. So who can tell us what our A is? What's our A? What's our A? Who can tell us what our A is? And then someone should also tell us what our B is, and then also what our C is. I'm waiting. Okay, our A is 2, right? Correct? A is equal to 2. What about our B? Our B is minus 1, correct? Minus 1. So B is equal to minus 1. What about our C? What about our C? Our C is minus 6, correct? So C is equal to minus 6. Good. So we've done the first step. The next step is we are looking for two numbers that will multiply to give us AC. So multiply to give us AC. And those same two numbers will add to give us B. Okay, so who can tell us what our AC is? What's going to be the value of AC? What's going to be the value of AC? What's going to be the value of AC? Minus 12. 2 times minus 6 gives us minus 12, correct? And then we know that our B is minus 1. Okay? So now we are looking for two numbers that will multiply to give us minus 12. Always start with 1. Always start with 1 so that it will help you to move from one level to another. So we start with 1. We have 1 plus 1 times minus 12. Plus 1 times minus 12 will give you minus 12. We alternate it. Minus 1 times plus 12. This will also give you minus 12. So we are done with 1. We step up to 2. Plus 2 times minus 6 is equal to minus 12. Also, minus 2 times plus 6 will give you minus 12. So we are done with 1. We are done with 2. So let's see if 3 can multiply with something to give us minus 12. It can. Plus 3 times minus 4 is equal to minus 12. And also minus 3 times plus 4 is equal to minus 12. Are there other values? No, because we've already gotten to 3 and 4. So between 3 and 4, there is no other number. So all these groups of numbers can multiply to give us minus 12. But among these groups, which of them we add to give us minus 1? The one that will add to give us minus 1 is the group that we're going to use to replace minus x. Our target is to replace minus x, to split minus x into two numbers. So if you have plus 1 minus 12 is going to give us minus 11. Plus 1 minus 12 will give us minus 11. Minus 1 plus 12 will give us plus 11. Plus 2 minus 6 will give us minus 4. Minus 2 plus 6 will give us plus 4. Going further, plus 3 minus 4 will give us minus 1. And minus 3 plus 4 will give us plus 1. So among the groups, this is the group that we are looking for. Plus 3 minus 4. So what we are going to simply do is to replace minus x with plus 3x minus 4x. So we are going to have 2x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 6 is equal to 0. So we have replaced this value with these two values. If you look at it, plus 3x minus 4x will give you minus x. So, okay, correct. Second to the last, correct. So now we are going to factorize these two together. We're going to factorize these two together. So between 2x squared and plus 3x, what is common is x. 2x squared divided by x will give us 2x. Plus 3x divided by x will give us plus 3. Minus 4x and minus 6. What is common is 2. So bring it out. Minus 4x divided by minus 2. Minus divided by minus will give us plus. 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. X divided by, there's no x there, so we have x. Okay. Next, minus divided by minus will give us plus. 6 divided by 2 will give us 3. It's equal to 0. So we look into the brackets to see if they are the same. If they are the same, then we know that we are on the right track. Next thing we have to do is pick one of these two brackets, these two values in the bracket. So we have 2x plus 3, and then bring these two values outside the bracket together. X minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to equate this to 0 and equate this to 0. So 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay. Next, we want to solve for x over here. So we move plus 3 to the right. We have 2x is equal to, plus 3 goes over to the right, becomes minus 3. Or x, we move minus 2 to the right and it becomes plus 2. So x is equal to plus 2. So this means we've gotten this answer already. But over here, we need to solve further by dividing both sides by 2. So we divide here by 2. We divide here by 2. So let me wipe here off. So we can simply write 2, we cancel out 2. We have x is equal to minus 3 over 2, or over here, we already have x is equal to 2. X is equal to 2. So this gives us the two possible values of x. Man them. You said minus 4 and plus 3. Okay. I think we are talking about this one. Okay. So this is just the simple process of solving a quadratic equation using the factoring method. So we're going to solve one more question, and then I'll give a classwork concerning that. Let's continue. Let's continue. Hope we can continue. Are you ready for us to continue? Okay. So we're solving one more example for today. So we have solved x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. X squared plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. So the first thing we need to do is write this in the basic form of a quadratic equation. We need to write it in the basic form of a quadratic equation. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So we need to identify our a. We need to identify our a. Equalities. I don't think I have a video on equalities. Is it inequalities or equalities? So looking at this, our a is equal to 1. Our b is equal to 5 or plus 5. And then our c is equal to 6. Why is this blurry? Camera is gone out of focus. Okay, I think we can continue. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 5, and c is equal to 6. So the first thing we look for is, we look for two numbers that will multiply to give us AC, and those two numbers have to add to give us B. Our AC is 1 times 6, which is 6, or plus 6. Our B is plus 5. So that means we are looking for two numbers that will multiply. Okay, yeah. We are looking for two numbers that will multiply to give us plus 6, and those same two numbers will add to give us plus 5. So first we have to start from here. Write down the combination of numbers that will multiply to give us plus 6. The first number, we always start with 1. So the first number is plus 1 times plus 6. This will give us plus 6. Next, minus 1 times minus 6. This will give us plus 6. So we are done with 1. We go to 2. Plus 2 times plus 3. This will give us plus 6. Minus 2 times minus 3. This will also give us plus 6. Okay, correct? But among these numbers, which ones will add up to give us plus 5? Plus 1 plus 6 will give us plus 7. Minus 1 minus 6 will give us minus 7. Plus 2 plus 3 will give us plus 5. Minus 2 minus 3 will give us minus 5. This means the combination of values that will give us plus 5 is this. Okay, so we're going to use this to replace plus 5x. So instead of having plus 5x there, we're going to have plus 2x plus 3x. So we're going to have x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 is equal to 0. So plus 2x plus 3x will still give us plus 5x. So we only replaced plus 5x with plus 2x plus 3x. Next, we factorize by grouping. We factorize these two together. We factorize these two together. So looking at these two, x squared and plus 2x, what is common is x. X squared divided by x will give us x. Plus 2x divided by x will give us plus 2. We bring the plus sign down. 3x and 6, what is common is 3. Now we have plus 3x divided by plus 3, that will give us x. And then plus 6 divided by plus 3, that will give us plus 2. It's equal to 0. So this one is straightforward. Very easy too. So the values outside the bracket, the values inside the bracket is the same. So we write x plus 2, and then we'll bring the values outside the bracket together. It's equal to 0. So next thing we do is we equate each of the brackets to 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so when we move plus 2 to the right, it becomes minus 2. So therefore, x is equal to minus 2, or plus 3 moving to the right, it becomes minus 3. X is equal to minus 3. So this becomes the two possible values of x. It's either x is equal to minus 2 or x is equal to minus 3. So these are the two solutions to this quadratic equation. This means that if you fix in minus 2 in this formula, you're going to get equal to 0. Everything on the left is going to turn to 0. If you put in minus 3 into this formula, everything on the left is going to turn to 0. So that's what it means. Okay. So we've done 3 examples. So I'm going to give you guys one question to solve, and then I'm going to drop the assignment for today that you guys can try out on your own. Hope we can continue. Okay, let's continue. So I'd like you to try this question using the factoring method that we have learned today. You guys, or in our previous class, you guys solved the same question using the formula method. But today you're going to solve it using the factoring method. X squared minus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. Let's see. We have 7 minutes to get that done. 7 minutes. Okay, x is equal to 5 or x is equal to minus 3. Is that the final answer? Is that the final answer? Okay. Okay. Does anyone else have an answer? So we're almost done with today's class. Okay, 1 minute more. 1 minute more. So what we are going to do is we're just going to do correction, and then I'll give an assignment for today's class. Okay, so let's continue. Is there anybody that is still attempting it? Okay, let's solve it. Let's solve it. I think we've stayed for quite a while today in today's class. Thank you for everyone who has been here from the beginning, from the middle, and has stayed up to this point. So let's look at this together. X squared minus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. So we are, okay, the Virginia said minus 3 and minus 5. That's close. But I think one of them does not have minus. Let's see it together. So from what we have here, our A is equal to 1. Our B is equal to minus 2. And our C is equal to minus 15. So now that means we are looking for two numbers that will multiply themselves to give us AC. AC is minus 15. So AC minus 15. And add to give us B. Our B is minus 2. So let's look at the values that will multiply to give us minus 15. The first one is plus 1 times minus 15. This will give us minus 15. Minus 1 times plus 15. This will also give us minus 15. So we are done with 1. We try out 2. It's not possible for us to multiply anything by 2 to give us 15. So we'll go to 3. Plus 3 times minus 5. This will give us minus 15. Minus 3 times plus 5. This will give us minus 15. So apart from 3, we go to 4. It's not possible for us to divide 15 by 4 and get a whole number. And then the next number is 5. So that means these are the 4 sets of numbers that can multiply to give us 15. So let's look at addition. Which of these groups will add to give us minus 2? So plus 1 minus 15 is going to give us minus 14. Minus 1 plus 15 is going to give us plus 14. Plus 3 minus 5 is going to give us minus 2. And minus 3 plus 5 is going to give us plus 2. That means the group we are going to work with is plus 3 minus 5. So that means we're going to replace minus 2x with plus 3x minus 5x. So let's do that. We have x squared plus 3x minus 5x minus 15 is equal to 0. So right now we can factorize by grouping. So we can group these two together. X squared and plus 3x, what is common is x. X squared divided by x is x. Plus 3x divided by x is plus 3. We have minus 5x minus 15. So we have what is common is minus 5. To be on the safe side, you just bring this minus down. Always the sign you find here, always bring it down. Okay. So when you bring this minus down, then you look at 15x and 5x and 15. What is common is 5. So once you've written that down, you can now divide minus 5x divided by minus 5. Minus 5 divided by minus 5 will give us plus 1. And then x divided by nothing, you have x. Minus divided by minus will give us plus. 15 divided by 5 will give us 3. It's equal to 0. Okay. So next, the values inside the bracket, since they are the same, you open one bracket, and then the two values outside the bracket, you put them in one bracket. It's equal to 0. So next, we equate each of the brackets to 0. So x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 5 is equal to 0. So to get x here, you move plus 3 to the right, you have minus 3. So x is equal to minus 3, or you move minus 5 to the right, you have plus 5. X is equal to 5. So those are the two values of x. Those are the two values of x. So well done everyone for attempting the question. Great job, great job, great job. You guys did very well. So we have considered the first two methods of solving quadratic equations. We've considered the formula method, and today we've considered the factoring method. We will not be able to have a class tomorrow because my schedule is tight, but on Monday we are going to consider the last method of solving quadratic equation, which is the completing the square method. God willing, that's what we are going to do. Okay, so well done guys. Thank you for staying up to this point. Thank you for participating. Also, if you have friends who want to improve their maths skill, every of the videos that we do, every live class is saved on my YouTube channel. So if you have any friend, family member that want to learn any particular topic that we have learned before, you can just refer them to my YouTube channel and then tell them to go to the playlist section, the playlist. So all the videos are saved on the playlist. So on the playlist, you're going to see quadratic equation and simultaneous equation. You're going to see logarithm. You're going to see indices. You're going to see area of plane shapes. You're going to see all the topics that we are learning. So as we learn more topics, all of them will be saved on the playlist. Okay, so you can just watch them at any time. You can share it with your friends, your children also, if you have children, as they grow up. Okay, so thank you guys for being here with me, for participating in the class activity. So right now I'm going to leave you with the assignment for today. Let's go. So I gave this same assignment when we did the uh, formula method. So when you solve it, compare it to what you did for the formula method and check if you arrived at the same answer. For you to solve this, you need to go back to one of the topics we learned when we were looking at factorization of algebra. We learned how to factorize algebra using difference of two squares. Difference of two squares. So for you to factorize this, for you to do this, you need to factorize using difference of two squares. Okay? So you can go check my playlist on factorization of algebra and watch them to refresh your memory about difference of two squares. Okay? So that will be all for today's class. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like the video, also share with your friends, and also take part in the next class. Okay, see you in the next class, guys. See you guys. Thank you for being here up to this point. Have a wonderful evening. Bye. Adios.